What is up, guys? Today all about yoga in freediving. Why is yoga beneficial for freediving? What kinds of yoga would be better for freediving? How can yoga make us a better freediver? And at the end of the video we will talk about the 5 best yoga stretches for freediving. Coming up. What is up? Today all about yoga for freediving. I'm here with Natalie, the South African freediving record holder and yoga teacher. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy, helping you master freediving. And honestly, when I started freediving, my life just simply changed for the better. Freediving gave me a space, a way to relax my mind and let go of all my tension. I have found my peace. And now I want you to find your peace through the practicing of freediving. So if you like the idea, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. Okay, Natalie. So let's start with the most obvious question, I guess. As a freediver, should we engage in any kind of yoga, and why would that be?
Okay, so firstly, yoga does not substitute training for freediving. So the only way to train for freediving is to freedive itself. However, yoga can be a great complement and is a great complement to freediving because it gives you a lot more body awareness. It teaches you how to relax your body, and it'll give you more control of your various body parts that you need in freediving, such as your throat, your glottis, your bandhas, like your diaphragm. There's a diaphragm lock, and Mono bandha is the root lock, and it'll give you more flexibility in your rib cage to be able to withstand greater pressure at depth.
So it's about relaxation, which obviously is very important in freediving. It's about becoming aware of your body, how to relax your muscles. So all of this can be done through yoga. How do you think yoga is related to freediving, or should I say, is freediving more related to yoga?
I feel essentially freediving is yoga because the word yoga comes from the word yog, which means to unite or to connect, and that uniting is to the higher self, to the present moment, to global consciousness. And in freediving, I feel like it's a more direct link into that state of being rather than just being on a yoga mat and following a teacher. So really, when we practice freediving, we are practicing yoga. And so when you do practice yoga, you can apply what you learn in freediving to the yoga practice. And the same with yoga, you can apply what you learn to freediving.
Would you say that certain types or kinds of yoga would be more suitable for freediving? How should we see this?
So yeah, there are various types of yoga. There's a more dynamic practice of hatha or vinyasa. There's a breathing practice, kundalini. And there's a very passive, relaxed, deep, stretchy, long hold practice called yin yoga.
Yin yoga.
Yin yoga, I feel, is most beneficial for freediving because it really teaches the person to relax. With the long holds, we relax the muscle and we can access fascia, so different part of the body that binds our body together and our joints. So essentially, when we learn how to relax in this yoga practice, we can apply that same relaxation in the water.
If I understood well, yin yoga are longer poses to give your fascia the time to open up, to loosen up. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. Fascia is more of plastic material. It's more, if you think of your joints and connective tissue, that white, stringy, fibrous stuff in the body, it's more like a plastic type material, so it needs longer to release. Whereas muscle is more like elastic, so when we work the muscle, we stretch or work, we stretch it out and then relax it, stretch it out, relax it. Okay, so in order to access our fascia, we need to completely relax the muscle because otherwise the stretch will be absorbed into the muscle. When we relax the muscle, so for instance, practicing yin yoga first thing in the morning when our muscles are not warm at all, then we can really start to access the parts of the body that are holding the body together. So sometimes when we're not flexible, it's not necessarily the muscle, but it's the surrounding tissue of the muscle that's binding and locking us.
Interesting.
And that's why we may feel stiffness in one part of the body that's not even directly there, but rather in a link to that body area. For instance, you may feel stiffness in your shoulder, but it may be the fascia being stored in your hips that is starting to tighten up.
Just before you said Kundalini, which is yoga more based upon breathing patterns. So I would say, oh, breathing. So that would be the most suitable way of yoga for, but you prefer more yin yoga.
The breathing practice is really great. We use a mantra in Kundalini yoga that really helps to like switch off the mind and just helps you to go into a flow state. So that's great for the state of being that we would need in freediving to relax. However, the breathing is a form of hyperventilation, and we know that hyperventilating for freediving is bad, and also it may change the structure of the alveoli. So I would say it's a very good practice, a very complementary practice, but I wouldn't say, for me personally, it is the best practice that complements freediving.
Okay, so let's jump now into your top 5 stretches for yoga, your number 1 stretch.
So my number 1 stretch for freediving in yin yoga is just a simple standing forward fold. Okay, so we come to the mat, we bring our feet around hip distance apart, which is about 2 fists apart. And then we just simply fold forward over the legs, keeping the toes spread out to stabilize us, and keeping the knees bent so that the chest can rest on the thighs as much as possible. If you're very flexible in the hamstrings, you'll find that you can straighten your legs more. But if you're tight in the hamstrings and lower back, you may need to bend your knees a lot more. And when you bend your knees, you access the lower back. As you hold the pose over the course of 5 minutes, you'll find that the fascia tissue starts to loosen up and you can start to strain your legs more, and then you'll start to access more of the back of the legs. Second stretch we have is a 2-sided stretch. It's called pigeon pose, and we do this on each leg by bringing the knee forward towards the same wrist. So right knee would come towards the right wrist, the ankle would come towards the left wrist, and then we slide the back leg away and extend our arms forward. We can do this resting on a pillow or cushion, and if your hips are very tight, you can even have a pillow underneath the hip that's been stimulated. For instance, right leg forward, you place the pillow under the right hip bone, just so that you can relax that hip, that sitting bone, and you don't have to force it to the ground. Over the time, you're going to feel the glutes, the gluteus muscles all start to relax. And when they relax, we start to open the hips. Hip openers are super great because they're going to help us with flexibility for no fin diving, also for flexibility to keep straight legs and use our hip flexors for bifinning.
Awesome, I love that one. Third stretch, please.
Third stretch would be the Anahata Asana. So in regular Hatha yoga, it's called puppy pose. It looks similar to child's pose. However, you keep the hips directly over the knees and you slide your arms forward and rest on your forearms. If it feels too intense in the arms or shoulders, you can rest your upper body on a pillow or cushion. That's why it's also nice to do it first thing in the morning, maybe laying in bed before you go freedive, because you can use your pillows as props. So you just relax the body, and what it's going to do is start to open the shoulders and also start to open the rib cage. So this is, as we know, we want flexible rib cage, flexible intercostals for withstanding
the whole thoracic area, basically, yes.
And with the shoulders, to extend the arms above the head for dynamics or depth and monofinning, bifinning for a streamlined position. This is going to help to open the shoulders and chest.
Awesome.
The fourth position will be lying down, so a very, very passive stretch, and it's called Banana Asana, which is obviously not a very ancient name or Sanskrit name, but basically you're shaped like a banana. So you come to the mat or laying in bed, and you just shift your hips to one side and then bring your arms and your legs to the opposite corner. So if your hips are to the right, you'll bring your arms to the upper left corner of the mat, and you bring your legs to the lower left corner, and then you can cross the outside ankle over the inner ankle. So you'd, in that case, cross the right ankle over the left, and make sure both hips are grounded down. So you access the entire side body from the baby toe along the side body up to your pinky finger. It's going to open everything along the side. So it's going to open the IT band, it's going to open the rib cage, it's going to stimulate the meridian lines that are in your armpits, so access your liver, your kidney, your lungs, and you can hold this pose for 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to start to feel this nice deep opening. You may even need to back out of the pose slightly because it can start to feel quite deep and intense, but that's totally okay. You can also just relax into it and breathe into it and just let your body open naturally.
Fifth and last
Fifth and last would be laying down as well, and it's a spinal twist. So you can have the knees together and bring the knees to one side and open the arms either into a T shape or a cactus shape and turn your gaze, your head to the opposite side. And then you just relax in this position for 5 or more minutes. Breathe into the lower belly and lower back. It's going to help to release any tension that you have there that you may store. helps to open the chest again, and generally just give it a little stimulation to your digestive organs. So it's a super nice relaxing pose that, again, you can practice first thing in the morning, or if you want to chill out before a dive the next day, you can do in the evening.
Guys, if you have any questions about yoga for freediving, let me know in the comments. And that's it. Peace in every breath.